Welcome to another episode of I Don't Have the Answers, but let's talk about it anyway. I'm your host, Timothy Four, and tonight's episode is about, are we preparing students enough? Are we doing enough to help them to succeed in their either careers or education? Now, I know a lot of you are out there like, didn't we already talk about education? Well, yes, we did, but this is kind of a little different. Now, there are currently 3.7 million 12th graders enrolled in both public and private schools, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. And almost all of them are getting bombarded right now with requests to take tests, to fill out applications, and to enroll in college. However, there's a declining number that are being told even remotely about other opportunities. Now, I'm not saying that college isn't a very good choice, because it is, if that's the direction that you are designed for. Everybody is different. There are so many other opportunities out there. Today, however, we're going to talk about trade schools and what it means when we're not sending children and students to those trade schools. One of the things that kind of struck me as a little bit odd was that for most of the construction trades out there in the United States right now, the average age for a tradesman is 45 years or older. Now, that doesn't seem too bad. I mean, most of us, 45 years is still kind of young. We're doing good. But the fact is, when you have most of your tradesmen in that age group, within the next 15 years, they're going to start retiring. They're going to start, unfortunately, some of them will pass away. And if we don't renew that pool, then things are going to start happening that's going to trickle down, so to speak. For instance, if half of that 45-year-old group decides to retire, pass away, or change careers, the other half would have to pick up the slack. So when you bust a water pipe and have to call a plumber, there's only going to be half as many available out there for you. Now, of course, those statistics are really just off the top of my head. I mean, I know that it's not going to reduce by half, but when you think about it, with an aging population of contractors out there and tradesmen, it will have detrimental effects. Recently in the New York Times, they had an article that said that HVAC, the average age for HVAC repair person in the country, 57 years old. 57 years old. That's crazy. I mean, when you think about it, my brother's currently, one of them is currently still working in HVAC and the other one was. And they can both tell you that that is not an easy job. Crawling around, especially in Florida, in attics and installing things like that. Definitely not something that you want to still be doing at 60, 65 years old. So I can imagine that as that particular group continues to age, then there's going to be some trickle down effects when it comes to housing costs and when it comes to repair costs. So it's going to affect people that are investing in real estate and renting out properties. It's going to affect homeowners because their new homes are going to cost more when the bidding for the HVAC is going to be increased because there's just too much work and not enough people doing the job. And you may be asking, Tim, why does that matter to me? Well, it will affect all corners of our economy. We already learned that anything that happens in the housing market affects everything. So what can we do? Well, we can start telling our children that they have options. They don't just have college as a primary option. They have other things they can do. Unfortunately, federal government funding doesn't like to think of it that way. What are you saying, Tim? Well, As of a couple months ago, the total federal funding for college, for as far as loans and tax breaks and subsidies and all kinds of funding, was $150 billion in the United States. 150 billion. Trade schools, however, less than a billion. We need to start putting the emphasis evenly across all markets because there is so much out there that students can be going to school for, not just the traditional 4-year education. And if we don't start promoting those other things, it's going to get to a detrimental point soon. One of the reasons why our trades are starting to age and young ones aren't going to following in footsteps is because it's no longer a handed down career. It used to be that the son would follow into the father's career field and they would learn at their elbow. It'd be like if dad was a contractor, the son would be out there learning as well. That doesn't happen anymore. My father, I should have actually picked up the mantle and gone to work with him. Kind of kicking myself that I didn't. But it's not something that kids do nowadays. It used to be that if you grew up on a farm, guess what? You're a farmer. That's your job. That's what you're going to end up doing. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but since we've lost that part of raising our children and educating our children, we have to pick up the slack somewhere else. And that's where these trade schools come into play. There are so many other opportunities, not just with construction trades either. You can actually get a certificate in information security that would have you actually working hands-on instead of being at school for 4 years, and actually start earning money instead of building up to $45,000 in debt, which is average cost for a 4-year degree in information security across the country. That also is from the National Center for Education Statistics. There are too many opportunities for us to just be focusing on one avenue of education. There are too many other things that can be done out there to just focus on one of anything. We have a duty to help our children prepare. And it starts not just in high school. It starts way before that. Letting them know that they have the option. Because nowadays, once they hit ninth grade, they're so focused on college that they don't remember that they're supposed to still be kids. They need to know that we support them, that we can help them, and they don't have to go on one specific path. Now, for those of you out there that really want your kid to be a doctor or a lawyer, go for it. Push them in that direction. But remember to ask them what they want. I mean, is that really what they want to be doing? Do they really want to sit behind a desk and do all of that work for the next 4 to 6 years to hopefully get a job? Because let's face it used to be that college was a guaranteed way to get a good job, a good paying job. Now that guarantee isn't as accurate anymore. Yes, you get an edge. Yes, you have a little bit of a leg up on the competition. But that leg up and that edge is not what it used to be. There's plenty of other jobs out there that hands-on work experience is helping, and certificate programs are helping. So do we really need to get into a lifelong debt to get an education that's not going to be a guarantee to help us out? I don't think so. I think that there are so many other things that we could do. For instance, joining the military right out of high school. That opens up some doors. Not only do you start earning money right away, but you also earn a chance to get a college education with all of the benefits that they have, you can still go to college, but you don't end up getting yourself in debt for the next 20, 30 years to pay for it. I'm just saying that this world is full of so many choices. Why are we focusing on only one item on the menu? We've got so much to do. And making sure our children are properly set up and prepared for the future is one of the biggest things that we can do. We've got to do it right. For generations before us, they would help us by showing us how to become adults and what to do with when we get to high school or afterwards. Now we're just relying on counselors in high school and commercials and social media to tell our children what they need to do. It's time to take that education portion back. We need to be the ones that give them the suggestions. We need to be the ones that support them in their decisions. And who cares if they go right away after high school? I mean, it's not for everybody. Gap year is a thing. Go out and explore. Take a chance. But trust your kids to make the decision that they need to make. Give them all the tools to make those decisions, but trust them. Because it's their life they're living, not yours. Now, I can go on a tangent on that for a long time. I mean, pushing our children to do something that they don't want to do, kind of not exactly a good idea. I mean, I try to do it with my 5-year-old all the time. Not a good idea. Don't force them to do something they don't want to do. Tell them the opportunities that they have available and let them know that you can help them. But don't push. Somebody told me once before that rules need to be treated as handrails, not handcuffs. Something to help you along the way. Something for you to lean on when you need to. Not to shackle you to an idea. And I think that that's going to stick with me for a long time. We need to support them, help them on their way. Be a light unto their feet as they travel. Because in the end, the decisions that they make are going to be a reflection on how they were raised and who taught them. What kind of reflection do you want them to be showing? Because that reflection is going to shine right back on you. Do you want them to be 35 years old, sitting behind the desk, working as an accountant, and dreading every minute of it from the drive into work to the drive home? Sorry, Caitlin. I know that you'd like to going to school to be an accountant. But it's not for everybody. If their goal is to go into law enforcement or the military, cry your eyes out behind the scenes. Bawl all the time because you're scared for them. But when you're in front of them, support them. Give them the hugs they need because you know they're going to need it. Be there when they go and sign up and when they raise their right hand to enlist or to join. But support them. Because you'd rather have them know that you're supporting them than years down the road them resenting you for holding them back. Because while changing a career path is possible at any time, doing it's not exactly the easiest thing. I can say that from personal experience. Turning that ship around when it's been set sail for so long, it's kind of hard. It's a slow turn. So when I started out this episode as being all about promoting trade schools and other options, I think I got away from that original concept and went down a different path. But I think the message is still the same. Support what you can. Provide them with all the education and the tools necessary to make their decision and be there for them. Now, before I sign off for today's broadcast, wanted to make sure to let you guys know a few things. Number one, I welcome feedback, questions, anything that you want to talk about, just let me know. You've got all kinds of different avenues to get in touch with me. I'm sure that each and every one of you knows how to send a request through any one of the different mediums that you're listening to me on. I anxiously await hearing from you all and getting some suggestions and feedback. Positive, negative, doesn't matter. I'll take that negative and turn it into a positive. I can't fix what I don't know is broken. Take the time to reach out and let me know. If you've got a topic out there, no matter how off the wall it is, ask. If I don't have the answers, which I've already told you I don't, I'll find somebody to talk on the show about it. I've got a wide range of friends and family and colleagues that will be willing to hop on at any time. If you want to have a conversation about financial planning, I know a guy. If you want to talk about selling real estate and going to real estate school, I know a couple girls. If you want to talk about anything, I can have you on the show to talk about it yourself. There's nothing off limits. This show is as much for you, the listener, as it is for me. And I anticipate that having this kind of open communication will just make the show even better. I grow every time just from listening to what you guys have to say. And I can't wait to hear what we could do next. This is fun for me. This is something I've wanted to do for quite a long time. And I can talk about anything, I have no problem doing it. But I really want to hear what you have to say. So I know that makes this show a little bit of a shorter episode than normal, but I want to leave it out there for you guys. Let me know what you want to talk about, because I want to hear it, and I know that others might. As I always say, I don't have the answers, so let's talk about it anyway. Thanks, folks. Have a good evening.